Do you know who Brianna Wu is? Brianna Wu is a lovely lady who is running for Congress in 2020. She's a computer programmer, a cybersecurity expert, and a small business owner with a proven track record of fighting for progressive values. Which means she's a giant SJW who was one of the leading causes behind the Gamergate revolution, and she is 200% mad that I am running to become an MEP. She is. It gets me so angry. All the people behind Gamergate, one of them, have gone on to do so much damage to social justice at large, to progressivism, because we are not SJWs. Mike Cernovich, Milo Yiannopoulos, Carl Benjamin, Steve Bannon, Wait, Steve Bannon? What did he have to do with Gamergate? Members of Gamergate have gone to prison for terrorism. Have they? Fucking who? None of these people have gone to prison for terrorism. I know that there are SJWs who have gone on mass shootings, though. I mean, and the Young Turks have radicalised people to go and shoot cops. But you know what? Let's just carry on. It doesn't really matter. Another for murdering their mum's dog. Another for assaulting police. Well, that means that all of them must be evil, Brianna. If a couple of bad apples were in there, then they must all be literal terrorists. This is a totally sane, totally rational position you have, and is certainly not wildly hyperbolic and utterly and disgustingly partisan. I told this to the New York Times and the Washington Post, and I'll repeat it today. I had multiple meetings with the White House and FBI agents. We meticulously documented Gamergate felonies for them, and they failed us. Me, you, all of us. She's saying they failed them because the FBI, unironically, said Gamergate did nothing wrong. That was actually the extent of that. I hadn't actually read that in advance. I just assumed it was going to be a long Twitter tirade. What a lazy old hag Brianna Wu is. Honestly, I recall her very much from the Gamergate days, where she was just exactly as you would expect. She was just caricature of a progressive talking head. Everyone's a racist, everyone's a white supremacist, everyone's a Nazi. Gamergate are full of Nazi terrorists. And the thing is, we did loads of political compass tests in Gamergate, and they were all amalgamated together. And Gamergate was overwhelmingly a libertarian movement, and mostly left-wing. I mean, I imagine a lot of those people have kind of shifted towards the centre now, because they've realised just how ridiculous the left has become. But it was absolutely not filled with Nazis and all this sort of stuff. It was mostly people who were just absolutely sick of identity politicians telling them how to behave because of their race or their gender or whatever. You know, when it's not Brianna Wu's business to declare how I as a man or a white person or whatever should act, like I wouldn't declare how she as a woman or whatever should act either. It's just ridiculous that they think they have some sort of claim. And the thing is, it's weirdly paternalistic in a sort of, I guess I would describe it sort of like a high Tory sort of way, where you're talking about, no, me as what I am, therefore my bloodline, my ancestry that has made me the thing I am, gives me a claim to tell you how to behave. Helen Dale goes into this in the interview that I'll be putting up tomorrow, and my God, when she describes the kind of like, you know, aristocratic conservatism that is one sort of strain of conservatism in the Conservative Party of my country, it just sounds like the way that the SJWs approach all politics. They think that because of the way you were born, the bloodline you were born into, and the circumstance that you have, of all the characteristics, the attributes that make you what you are and make them what they are entitled to tell you how to behave, and what to believe, and how to act. It's like, no, you're not. Unbelievably, and much to your chagrin, we are free, and we should remain free. And that is more important than your feelings, Brianna. And ultimately, I mean, I don't want to call her a con artist, because that's mean. You know, I don't want to say that she's a grifter, but I'm just saying that she did grift quite a lot. I mean, I may have made a video game and decided it wasn't good enough and refunded my backers because I simply wasn't capable of producing the product that I wanted. But Brianna Wu actually released her game, and it was a joke. And I don't think it ever reached Steam because she was afraid of it getting nailed by the press. And not just the press, but the public at large, the gamers themselves. Because Gamergate was an example of gamers rising up, and it still lives in their heads. Hasn't gone away, and it never will. And every single day, I've got a Google alert for Gamergate. Every single day, a new alert comes along. Gamergate this, Gamergate that, Gamergate the other. I mean, we've all stopped talking about it. It's something that ended like 3 years ago. Why would we bring it up now? And yet, ka-ching, members of Gamergate, blah, 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 blah. It will always live in their minds, right? Because I really do think they view themselves as some kind of aristocratic or priestly class, and they really do view Gamergate as a peasant's revolt. How dare you plebeians even think about coming out against us? How very dare you? Don't you know your place, you straight white males, and now it's you bloody Russian bots. Here is Patrick Klepek, at the time a games journalist. Who knows what he's doing? What are you doing now, Patrick? 3 years on, what do you do with your life? A senior reporter at Waypoint, a co-host of Till Death podcast, writes for Vice. So Patrick's gone up in the world by ending up writing for Vice, in which he did indeed write an article whining that we were doing this. But let's go through his Twitter feed, because he's linked to his Vice article here. We need to get ready for Gamergate politicians. Yes, you do. What does that mean, though? What does it mean to be a, quote, Gamergate politician? Because what Gamergate was a revolt against identity politics. And so when they say a Gamergate politician, you mean an anti-identitarian politician. A politician that is not going to say, right, give me your people and I will divide them up by their race and their gender, their sexuality, or their trans or cis status, and all this sort of nonsense. That's an open rejection of that form of politics. So yes, Patrick, you're right. You are going to have to get used to the fact that you are going to have to deal with Gamergate politicians. And do you think any of us, I'm sure I'll be the first, but do you think any of us are going to turn around and say, oh, okay, well, Patrick, sorry, tell me your concerns. No, we know your concerns, and we know you are a lying shit, just like you were in Gamergate. So we're not going to be apologizing for a damn thing. Let's have a quick look at his article. We need to get ready for Gamergate politicians. Carl Sagan-Akkad Benjamin, one of the original voices of Gamergate, is running for a seat in the European Parliament. He's not a fringe voice. He's becoming the mainstream. Can you feel it, lads? Can you feel it? We're on our way up. They can feel it. They know it's coming. They know that we're going mainstream. And oh, look at that. Suddenly my name is all over all of the papers. Oh, but there's bad press. No, there's no such thing as bad press. If Donald Trump taught us anything, it's get the press to do the work for you. Make them talk about you and make them say the things that you say, because they are obligated to print what comes out of your mouth. So if you say that you guys are dirty, dirty smear merchants, they have to print that, and everyone reading that will go, well, that's true about the press. And while I'm on this subject, when you see an article about someone you don't know, but it's entirely negative, ask yourself, why was that printed? The answer is always because the journalist who wrote it hates the views of the person that they're talking about, which is why they're not talking about their views, which is why they're instead trying to make you think that that person is a bad person, because they know that all politics is essentially based on feelings. It's how people feel about the candidates, not how they actually analyze their policies or politics. And that's why they do it. They know that smearing works. And so you, the reader, have to be aware of this and inoculate yourself against it. Be sensible. Don't let them manipulate you. So one of the most prominent anti-feminist voices during Gamergate, thank you very much. I love the way you're promoting me here. I mean, anyone who reads this and doesn't like feminism is going to be like, well, he sounds like my guy. If I was just a rando who's just, with YouTube channel hating feminists, if I'd featured this article about someone else in This Week in Stupid like 3 years ago, I'd have been like, yes, this is my guy. I will vote for this person. But anyway, I've turned towards politics, having been named a candidate for the European Parliament representing UKIP, a political party with a bent towards xenophobia, racism and anti-immigration. Well, the true bit there is not even anti-immigration, just controlled immigration. But anyway, obviously nothing true. It helped push the UK towards its infamous Brexit vote in 2016. Yeah, you better be afraid of UKIP. They can get things done, which the country continues to wrestle with. Anyone paying attention during Gamergate probably remembers him. He was one of the many far-right grifters who rose to prominence in that era, when the online hate group went around claiming it was for ethics and games journalism. Well, you weren't very ethical, were you? Why would we be wanting ethics, Mr. Ethical Journalist? And another thing, there was, oh God, I can't remember the name of the journo, but he ended up winning the awards from the Society of Professional Journalists, and he thought that he could, shove that in our faces, going, ha, see, Gamergate, I've got this ethics award. And we were like, good, that's what we wanted all along. You moron. But it largely spent its time harassing women online. You mean women are people, and they do things, and some of them need to be held to account, and so they were. Cry harder. In the years since, Benjamin has turned his moment in the sun, into a profitable endeavour. With nearly 1 million subscribers on YouTube and more than 3,000 people sending him nearly $12,000 a month on Patreon for his band. Well, that's alright, it's nearly 3,000 people sending me about the same money on Subscribestar now, where I will not be banned, I presume. Link in the description. Feel free to support me. Everything you do will go into continually promoting and advancing the liberal cause against the social justice termites who are trying to literally just chew away at the foundations of our society. It's not the Jews. They're not Jews. Most of them are fucking not Jews. Most of them are brainwashed, annoying college kids or just whoever. But they're all identitarians. They're all SJW lunatics who fundamentally, and this is the base principle from which they work with, the West was a bad idea. The West is an oppressive, tyrannical, capitalist, white supremacist patriarchy that needs to be destroyed. That's where they begin their fucking activism from, but that is the opposite position of where I begin my activism from. I think the West was a fundamentally good and moral thing, and we are responsible for promoting moral ideas around the world in the face of what is, in my opinion, barbarism from many of the other countries in the world. We are the civilizing force, and you are goddamn welcome, Patrick. Benjamin was also banned from Twitter, as if this is some sort of character attack. Who isn't banned from Twitter these days? Who hasn't been banned from Twitter that was worth listening to? And quickly fled to Gab. I had a Gab account long before I banned from Twitter. I just don't use it that much because, frankly, I can't get to the SJWs using it. It's a good place for people to go, but until the SJWs go on it, I've got no particular use for it because I'm here to fight the good fight. A popular haven for far-right figures chased off social media platforms. Yeah, a popular haven for people who have been tyrannized by the SJW order. People who have been unironically oppressed on social media. That's what you're saying. People who you are now punching down at, Patrick. Mr. O social justice activist. Fucking get bent, mate. I really hate these people's attitudes. But I love this. His grifting is now poised to become something darker and more influential. It's not really a grift then, is it? If it's a grift, it's not about being influential and changing things. If it's a grift, it's just about enriching myself. I don't need to worry about that. My audience has always understood why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I've always been completely open and honest about it, and I'm here to just change things. And then when I've changed things, I can retire. And my God, I cannot wait to retire. I cannot wait to do video games and history podcasts and all this kind of stuff that I love. The genuine things that I love. But instead, I have to fight lunatics like you. But you're lucky, because I enjoy the fight. I like getting up in your face. I like showing you guys that I just don't care and that we can just repudiate you in categoric terms. We do not think your moral structure is valid. That's the takeaway for you idiots. Anyway, I'll skip my quotes, blah, blah, blah. So we've got some smear here, but I stand by all that. We've got presumably, when I was insulting Nazis, I stand by that. I'm not going to take that back. But Benjamin is not an edgelord merely trolling for internet clicks. Unlike other far-right personalities like the now deplatformed Milo Yiannopoulos, again, another person who has been suppressed, who's largely disappeared from influence and relevance because his shtick was repeatedly and successfully poking platforms to see if they snap back. You mean because the Republican Party saw him coming in like a fucking whirlwind and did everything they could to cut him down out of fear? They should definitely get back. They should definitely bring Milo back. What he was accused of doing was nonsense. Milo was the victim in that regard. He was not the perpetrator. How he interprets his own victimhood is up to him. And what the Republican Party did to him was fucking disgusting. And every Republican should know that. Benjamin has straddled a blurry line of authority that's given him a chance to cash in on cultural power from the internet to a potential seat in Parliament. I love how they're so scared. They are so scared of this. It's an enormous step forward that would give Benjamin and those like him opportunities to transfer rhetoric to action, which is why I'm doing it. Why else would I be doing this? In the days since Benjamin's news broke, his past, full of purposely provocative statements to embolden his audience and provoke outsiders, has caught up with him. I think you'll find that was a good thing. And yes, that's exactly right. Purposely full of provocative statements. Thank you. I will take that. I will absolutely take that. Very happy with that. So, yeah, but this goes on, doesn't it? It's quite an extensive thing. So let's get to his summary. It's unclear if Benjamin would win. It's still early days for the upcoming election, but in a post-Trump world, take nothing for granted. That he thinks he could win is scary enough and shows how far we've come since Gamergate, a hellscape of its own. So I'd just like to thank all of the meme war veterans out there. Clearly you did your job if they described Gamergate as a hellscape, because I had a wonderful time during Gamergate. Every day was a new battle to fight, and I woke up full of energy and raring to go. There was a quote by Winston Churchill. Let me just compare myself to Winston Churchill a second. I mean, if Kevin Logan can compare himself to the men who stormed Normandy, then I can compare myself to Winston Churchill, right? So there's a quote by Winston Churchill. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but it's something to the effect of, he felt bad because every day during the war, he would wake up and he was excited. He was full of energy. He wanted to get things done. He wanted to make things happen. And it gave life to what he did. And there was a part of him that was sad that the war was over because he felt like he had less purpose in life. And I did feel kind of the same way about Gamergate. I felt that, afterwards, it's like, well, that was a shame because I was getting up ready to punch every day, ready to get out there and give them hell. But yeah, anyway, so we were obviously successful because they call it a hellscape. But one where the implications were beyond the grasp of too many. It's easy to dismiss these types of figures as fringe or merely trolls from the internet. It's racists openly marching in Charlottesville. It's a mass shooter in New Zealand streaming on Facebook. This is our new unhinged reality that you made. You were instrumental in making this reality. So don't be sorry about it, Patrick. This is the future you chose. You could have been mild and just generous and talk to us, and we would have said, look, we really disapprove of the way you're doing this. We'd really appreciate if you wouldn't do that. But instead you turn around and say, no, you're racist, you're an evil, misogynist white male. And so we were like, right, okay, if there is no discourse to be had, how about you get fucked? We're coming for you. Get used to it. But the best thing about all of this is that they are genuinely worried. They are genuinely afraid that we are going to do a Donald Trump on this and get up and win. I'll be touring around the southwest of England in the next coming month, and I will be taking a trip to the Rock of Gibraltar to promote my candidacy, which Gibraltar will be a part of my constituency if I win. So if you're in any of these regions, I'll leave a link. Please do come out and see me on the day. I'll be in the town centre of whatever town I've gone to that day, and I'll be there just talking to people about why I think Britain is a moral good and why I think you should vote for UKIP. See you there.